Choreographin und darstellende Künstlerin aus Berlin.
My name is Jouana Samia. I'm a Berlin-based multidisciplinary artist, most likely working as a director, choreographer, performing artist, and originally from Lebanon, Beirut. Honestly, I don't think that you need to be motivated to do it. I think it's our duty to do it. There's no other way than standing for human rights, no matter which oppressed community is struggling. I would do it for any kind of oppressed minority, but since I grew up with the Palestinian struggle, remembering that my first protest I have attended here in Berlin was when I was 5 years old. So my dad took me to the streets. It was ever since then quite present, which is now since 29 years actively showing up and using the privilege of having a voice, going to the streets and raising awareness for the Palestinian cause. My dad is born and raised in Beirut, Lebanon. He came to Germany as a young student when he was 18. This was slightly before the wall fell in Berlin. And he was studying here for a long time, but also been part of a student movement that have been very vocal and active for so many important political causes. One of them was Palestine already. So my dad was luckily someone who was politically very vocal and very active, and he raised us also with the fact of knowing that we have the right to use our voices, and knowing that we can protest, and knowing that a protest can make a change, since if we look out there and look into the past, that there was no revolution which was silent. Every revolution required people who been fighting for justice, and there's no fight with a cute little meditation group chilling and waiting for a change. So this was his kind of influence, raising me and my brother, which I'm very thankful for, because he kind of created a path of knowing that we have to do something to expect a change. Yeah, honestly, in the beginning it was quite tough, because I just realized me working in the entertainment industry in Germany, it was not seen as something beneficial for my career, or it was not beneficial for my career, speaking success-wise or financially. So I experienced a lot of cancellations from October 7th. I remember I was on tour coming back October 9th, October 7th. I've checked my phone and I was like, shit, this is going to be a very bad time for all of us. And I remember that I was sitting backstage with the whole crew and starting to talk about it, and I realized how little the knowledge is of everyone who was with me on this tour regarding Palestine or the Middle East in general, where I was like, okay, so Jouana, now it's the time to use your platform to teach them, to educate them, to share your feelings with these people, in the hope that they will actively support you, because you see them as part of your community, So you think that they also see you as part of their community, and you believe that they might be interested in your pain and your struggle and might stand up to have your back, which was, I guess, a very naive belief from my side, because it hurt in the beginning. I was very disappointed, I was very frustrated, I was very angry. But I realized that this kind of fears will never support the actual reason of having the political stance that I have. So I brought my energy back to keeping educating, keep posting, keep having conversations with the entertainment bubble. And I think that I'm kind of the cut between the Arab community in Berlin, Germany, but also the white privileged entertainment community. So I felt like a ping pong for such a long time now, trying to take the pain of the people I know and the people that are my people, and try to bring it closer to the people that I also know, but do not know my struggles so well and not know the struggles of my people so well. So there was kind of a phase where I was trying to balance that and to fulfill expectations of both sides, and I was struggling with that so much. But I realized that my role was bigger than I actually knew it is. And the moment I realized it, I got even more, I empowered myself to keep doing it. And I think it truly influenced people that are not Arab and that felt the need to show up to the protest and that felt the need to exchange with me, and they started sharing and coming back to social media the whole time. I know that it's a big ass conversation of if this helps or not, but if we all know, if there's no coverage in our Western media, there is luckily social media that we can still use to put the truth out. It's definitely a fear of being cancelled, especially when it comes to work. And we live in a country where work is everything. You stand up and you work and you come home, sleep, and you stand up again and go to work. And you can be happy if you make it through the month by the end of the month. But I also think, because I was through all the frustration and anger I felt of the non-expectations I had towards these people, I was trying to find answers, and I think that they really didn't struggle enough to understand why the need is so huge of them showing up, because they never had to for themselves. They never had a proper struggle regarding political things. Of course, we all have daily struggles that we face. I don't want to downgrade that, for sure. But coming to political struggles that you have to face because of your heritage or your religion, they never had to face that. So it's hard for them to understand. And I don't think that compassion is something you can learn. I think you either have it by nature because you grew up with it, or you don't. Well, honestly, as someone who is born and raised in Germany, in Berlin, I've never felt so disconnected to my home city as I do right now. And I've never felt so not welcomed with what I think and what I feel. And I was hoping during the past 400 plus days that through all the beautiful things that people were able to do as protest, activations, talks, events, that there might be a change somehow. But unfortunately, we didn't experience it until now. And if we take a look on the coverage of the media, the narrative is still the same since October 7th. So nothing has changed, which is, as a Lebanese person, and I think every Palestinian person or any other Arabic person in this country can relate to it, very frustrating. And not even talking about the police repression we experienced on all the protests. It also applies to so many brands or institutions that I used to work with, coming my way with telling me how to behave and to stop publishing stuff on social media regarding the Palestinian cause, which was honestly very, not even just uncomfortable, it was just like it shook my whole reality. And we knew, but we didn't know that much that it's going to be that uncomfortable. And I think that people outside of Germany really know what is going on in Germany already. Like wherever I went the past year, throughout jobs or shows I got to do, everyone was like, yo, you guys in Germany, you are strong. And you feel it, like if you, for example, the show we have been playing with Saint Levin and Lina, because I have the comparison because I was on many other stops too. And the audience in Berlin, even though the audience quantity was kind of the smallest, was so loud and so intense, and the people needed that. They needed to know that there is a safe place for them to scream, to shout, to chant, to be together, to grieve, to be angry, to be proud, because the repression in Germany was so intense the past 1.5 years. And I'm actually very proud of every single activist and artist who stayed true to themselves, because it's tough, especially when it applies on your financial income and you have to make it until the end of the month. There you have to have a lot of braveness to say, I believe and I trust myself that I will make it anyways. For me, working as a choreographer, performing artist in Germany, I think since 15 years now, I had the luck that I was booked and blessed over a long time. October 7th came, brands been reaching out, telling me what to say and what not to say. I didn't care, and I kept doing what I'm doing, and I kept saying what I needed to say. So the conclusion or the consequence was that I got cancelled, which was tough in the beginning, but it kind of brought me closer to myself. I had the time to sit with myself and to ask myself in an artistic way, Jouana, what do you want to do with your work? Is it just doing a service to other artists and being the decoration of them? Or is it the big names, the big brands that might bring some fame to your CV or to your career? Or do you really want to take time to dive into your work more, to create something that other people are able to connect to? And this is what happened. So I had the chance, the privilege, throughout the cancellations that I have experienced, to have time to digest and to get closer to myself and to really listen to the voice that is within me. So I realized I want to create stuff that first of all is saying something without saying something, because I'm a movement artist, but still people can resonate to the feeling I put in this piece or on stage. And a friend of mine I met in Lebanon last summer, she organized a fundraiser beginning of October this year, and she was like, "Jouana, are you up for a performance?" So I decided to join and to create a new piece for this fundraiser for Lebanon, which is called El Taula, because I was trying to find a prop that resonates with the feeling that I had. And I remembered that as a kid, when I was sad or anxious, I was always laying under a table until I cried my heart out and I came out of the table again. So I created a piece under, around and on a table to a song of Lina Mahroul. She's an independent Palestinian artist from occupied Palestine. And the song is called On Mute because she's not saying any words, but her vocals are saying everything. It's a very, I would say, intense journey listening to the song. I decided to create the piece to her piece, to make it a different piece. And I am connected with her since a long time on social media, and she saw it, and I knew that she's coming to Berlin, so we ended up collaborating on the Berlin show with Lina and Saint Levin. So it's on Saint Levin's tour, and Lina is having her own 35-minute set before Saint Levin comes out, and it's the opening of the show. And we were actually just planning to do Berlin, but we ended up doing it in 5 more cities, which was, I think, so far throughout my whole career, the most beautiful performing experience I've ever had. Especially, not only because it was a piece I've created in a non-commercial context, just to give myself a little therapy session with this creation and the time I've spent with this piece, but also having the chance to connect to our community that much, like seeing so many kufis in the audience and flags from the whole Middle East in the audience, people celebrating their culture with so much pride, was so moving. And I really, really needed that, because it was like an intense hug that healed me with every single performance a little bit. Yeah, I'm very grateful that this door opened for me, and I hope that it inspires other Middle Eastern artists to believe that there is a place for them. I think it just happened naturally, organically, because every single one who was part of this tour is part of this movement. So there was no other way than just being there to really, really, really be there for the cause. Knowing that it's 2 Palestinian artists standing there on stage, fighting for their people through art. There's no other way than being there with your people, opening your arms up for your people, giving them the chance to fill up their batteries and let them leave with hope. And I think this is what happened. It happened to me. So I'm pretty sure that also people in the audience experienced that. Yeah, first of all, I was very much inspired to direct a show that is inspired by a political active woman that was not even the most amazing painter, I would say, but her personality and the things she was standing for, the things she was active for, were so inspiring, and she really she was really polarizing and inspired so many people, not only women, to stay true to themselves. This is what she did to me. So when I got the request or the opportunity to do it, I was so into it. I was like, yes, that's going to be the most amazing thing, especially because it was a piece for kids, so the audience is between 5 and I would say 16, but actually so many grown people also go there, same as me. And the ensemble itself is also between 7 and 18. The whole process was actually quite nice because I had the chance to do a lot of research regarding the Mexican culture and Frida herself, and it was most likely built on her childhood. The tricky thing about it is that, which I maybe underestimated a little bit, it's an institution that is working with governmental funds. So they are also not really free in what they say or how they are represented. And I realized me being politically vocal for Palestine was not seen as something they celebrated or been proud of. Which was tough, to be honest. And I had the premiere, I think, a while ago, 2 weeks ago, in a dress made out of red kufiyas. And I knew that this might get attention in both ways, positive and negative, which was definitely the case. So I arrived at the premiere and so many people outside been actually celebrating it and sharing their love with me for doing that. And it was the day where we got the 60-day ceasefire in Lebanon. So I went to this premiere with a little relief, knowing that I don't have to check my phone, maybe at least for today, 100,000 times to get in touch with my family, and I can really focus on this premiere. So I went there, I arrived there, I went to the carpet, took some pictures, had the premiere, which was wonderful. I was super proud. This was like a huge success. Got out of the premiere, left the premiere party, went down and just experienced by a young lady just shared with me that my dress created a lot of trouble. And I knew, but I also didn't expect that it's going to be that bad. So apparently there were a lot of complaints regarding my dress. I got the hashtag Hamas fangirl. So funny. I didn't get published that night on socials of the theater, and I wrote an email telling them that I'm kind of disappointed and I don't understand why a fabric is creating so much trouble. So they got a lot of complaints, which I also understand from a theater perspective, that you have to deal with that, especially when you are funded by the government. But still, it was a slap into my face, to be honest. Especially the comments and DMs I experienced afterwards. Because a few people that know me, they just realized by themselves that me as the directress of this show wasn't published on their socials, and people started to comment like, how is it possible that you share the whole production but not your director, like make it make sense. And a lot of people have been commenting that from the other side, saying like, yeah, it's a kids show and there should not be anything political happening, and then this hashtag Hamas fangirl came up, and I received DMs where people saying that me and my bagage, who was with me on the day of the premiere, should be born, same as my family in Lebanon, and I do not belong on their stages. But fun fact, you're having an intercultural piece influenced by Mexican culture, influenced or inspired by a political active woman. And I think if Frida would know that, she would be ashamed for what happened regarding this kind of dress. And it's just a dress. I didn't say anything. And it's so interesting how much white people or Zionists can be triggered by a dress. It's a dress. I didn't say anything. And you made it a whole political statement. Like I became a terrorist by night. That's incredible. I think I can really take this example to answer that question, because yes, there was a lot of negative backlash and unfulfilled expectations, but I also received so much love regarding the dress. The moment I have arrived at this theater, people, white people from outside, been like screaming like, wow, I love your dress and it's so nice that you're wearing like Palestinian fabrics, and this gave me so much energy, and I tried to let this into my heart and protect it from all the negative things that happened. Of course it was draining, but I want to focus on the people that shared their love with me, and on the people that shared their love with me the past 1.5 years, because it really happened. And sometimes we get distracted by the negativity and the horrible things that are happening inside Germany, but also back home, which is hard to fight, especially when you're on the edge of getting into depressions and have to stand up every single day and keep fighting. But I think throughout the 1.5 years, we met so many beautiful people, and I got closer to so many beautiful people, and I want to put my focus on the light that came into my life, to fill up my heart with this warmth, to keep going. I think this is the only way. First of all, I realized in my industry, and the word industry is saying it already, it's the industry. And the industry is a machine. There are no feels. There's nothing that is going to happen for a good cause. Because good cause and money doesn't go together, you know? Only if we want to do a good cause and get donations to do something better, but good cause and capitalism doesn't go together. So I stepped out of the idea of I have to exist in the industry, which is service. In Germany there's a wonderful word, it's called Dienstleistung. Yeah, that's a Dienstleistung for sure. And then there's the artistry. So if you consider yourself an artist, what's your purpose with your art? And art in its purest form is resistance. So if you consider yourself an artist, your art should speak for resistance. Forget about the industry, I will not talk about that yet. So, my family is from the south of Lebanon and from Dahi, so they're probably in the areas that got hit the most. And it's quite interesting to talk to them, because I think we are tripping more than they are, because they're so used to it. And there's kind of stereotypical Lebanese behavior is talking things down. And they do it. And this is actually very scary. Also, speaking from a mental health kind of perspective. Because I realized in the beginning, all my aunts been talking things down. And it was weird. Very weird. And at some point, there was no way then just saying things how they are. And yeah, they lost actually everything. Everyone was in schools or mosques or churches trying to seek safety. And I was trying to get them to Turkey, and I did with a bunch of them. So they went on a flight to Istanbul and been staying there. But interesting is that the anti-Arab racism in Turkey is so intense that they didn't want to stay. They begged me to fly them back to Lebanon. Can you imagine? Like, you're fleeing war, arriving in a country where you're not welcome. I mean, we can all relate. And you rather go back to the bombing than experiencing this kind of racism on a daily. So yeah, they got back to Lebanon. They're all alive, alhamdulillah. But yeah, we have to find a way of getting them new homes. But also because my mom's family is Shia, and it's a whole thing in Lebanon, and I can tell that I was struggling to get an apartment for my family because they are Shia. And I didn't even think about that in the past years until now. Like, there's also some sort of superiorism in between the civilization of Lebanon, which is the answer to everything. Like, if we have it in our own culture, how shall we get rid of it from outside? Honestly, as a Lebanese person being born and raised in Berlin, I went through several identity crises trying to find myself. And also the definition of identity throughout the past 34 years, this is my age now, changed so often. And I was always trying to find access to my roots. I also realized that it was quite tough to make it in the art industry as a full-on Arabic person who looks Arabic, who has the Arabic features, who is proudly Arabic. So I tried to be as Western as possible, which disconnected me so much from my culture for such a long time and made me so unhappy, and I didn't realize why, but I dyed my hair blonde. I was just trying to fit in, and it worked, work-wise. Personally, it was, I guess, the most horrible time I've ever faced, and I went through several mental situations up and down for such a long time. And I got the chance to reconnect with my Lebanese roots, I think 6 years ago. And I want to empower everyone out there to see our culture as a blessing, because we have so much we can nourish our souls with, so much of warmth, love, arts in general in the Middle East and North Africa, amazing. Like, if you get in touch with that, you really, really like get more and more proud, and you want to wear your identity out loud and proud, you know? And this is what I'm seeing right now, and is giving me so much hope that there's no other way for other cultures, and also especially speaking about Western cultures to look through us. They have to look at us. They have to understand that we are there. We are incredibly strong. We have a huge ass community that is so beautiful that you have to accept it. And as soon we are contributing to it with the pride we are carrying on our chest, in our hearts, on our tongue, every single day, I truly believe that we will have the moment where other culture is going to be a trend. And this is going to happen very soon. You will see it in music, you will see it in any kind of visualization, you will see it in movies, you will see it in fashion. Remember this, I'm 100% convinced. And if you find someone, an artist, because I can tell from my perspective as an artist that is using her platform and is politically active, we need your support. So if you find an artist that is inspiring you and is representing the Arab culture, give them your support, because they need the love to know that what they are doing is correct. And this is how they feel empowered to keep going, because it's tough. But with the love of the audience, of the people that are sharing their love with us, we will keep going. So let's keep going.